All right, guys.
We're back.
I wanted to start off this episode sending up prayers genuinely to Bruce Willis.
Definitely.
Our king. He's been diagnosed with dementia.
Sexy daddy.
Oh, he is the prototype.
Demented or not, we stan.
We stan him. We stan his recent movie choices. He's got to provide.
Okay.
What?
I don't stan them, but I accept that they happened.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. We love him, though.
Yeah.
I might have to watch The Fifth Element.
Love and Light. I feel like you're always looking for an excuse to watch The Fifth Element, and this is a great one.
It's a great one.
It's a seminal movie for you.
His finest hour.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen The Fifth Element?
Isn't that shunking?
Lara.
I know.
Watch it tonight.
I might.
You will fucking love this movie.
I
John
know.
Paul Gaultier did all the outfits.
I know.
You're gonna fucking die.
I'm missing out. Am I really an ally if I haven't watched The Fifth Element? You be the judge.
It's such a you movie. I can't believe you haven't watched it.
I'm going to.
Okay. And you will want to be. You're gonna immediately want to wear the strappy
white
orange suspender like that Mila wears. Mila Jovovich.
I love Mila Jovovich.
I wanted to be her. I wanted to.
Isn't her name Lilu?
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Major.
Corbin Dallas.
Corbin?
Bruce.
That's a cool first name.
He has never been hotter than in this movie. He's wearing like bandages and fucking. He's a smoker. He's a cab driver. He is so hot.
He's been hot from beginning to now.
No.
He's never not been hot.
No, he's bald. He's the
bald
first.
daddy Bruce.
Yeah, he's really the first one to just be like, I'm going bald.
He was the blueprint. He was the blueprint for Bezos. Bezos should honestly throw him like a couple $100 million just for laying the groundwork.
He wishes.
Well, yeah.
But Bruce, my God.
Bezos could never.
But Bruce, Fifth Element is like the essential movie. I remember when I was a kid, I was obsessed with it and I rented it like all the time and I wanted to watch it one time and my sister was like afraid to watch it for some reason. And I'd been watching it like repeatedly for months at that point. And she went, I was like, let's watch Fifth Element. She went, Fifth Element? You're not allowed to watch The Fifth Element. And I went, really? Because I just watched it like 3 months ago. And she's like, no, I'm telling mom and dad, you're not allowed to watch it. It's too scary. And because she didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, that's a classic big sis move.
Yeah, she totally gaslit me.
Did she get her way?
No, we watched it.
Oh, okay.
And she liked it.
Damn. Next time. It's always worth a shot as a big sib.
I know.
To gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss your way into watching whatever movie you want to watch.
But never has there been one of the hottest on-screen couples is Mila and Bruce.
Yeah.
And her hair.
What can't she do? Make a good movie now.
Listen, Resident Evil was some stinkers, but they were always fun.
You got to do what you got to do in this world.
She's getting judging. A big paycheck.
Yeah.
Those movies always make like a bill or something. Not a billion. Like 500 mil. Yeah.
500 mil.
Resident Evil movies always make like a couple $100 million.
Okay.
It's like for a rated R.
I love.
It's a franchise tool.
I'm like psychotically jet lagged. I was telling you offline, I've been waking up at like 4:30 between the hours of 4 and 4:30 a.m. every day, no matter what time I go to sleep.
You're being plagued by a sleep demon.
Truly. So now my only choice moving forward is to just go to bed at 9 and accept that I'm like The Rock now.
You're like Mark Wahlberg.
He literally, I am like, I guess I just wake up at 3 a.m. and start to do 2-a-day workouts. I don't know what other life there is beyond acceptance and adaptation.
Yeah. I mean, it's like reverse psychology. Maybe if you start giving into the curse, you'll come out of it. Mm-hmm. Like it'll have the opposite effect somehow. It's
a fucked up time to be wide awake.
I mean,
whether you want to be or not.
You were somewhere for 2 weeks. That is literally a day ahead. Mm-hmm. That's like a powerful, You traveled back in time.
You
were a time gaper.
I am a time gaper. And on the way there, I like skipped time and then never experienced any jet lag while I was abroad. And now it's come back to bite me in the ass. I'm a different person now.
Well, now
I no longer will be able to be out vertical past the hour of 9 p.m.
Well, then what a solution is if you wake up at 4 a.m., you can watch The Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm. It's just horrific all around.
Sorry, doll.
You know what else is horrific?
Guys.
The damn Sarah Lawrence documentary.
The Sarah Lawrence sex cult documentary that's on Hulu right now is...
Stolen Youth.
I want to truly put a disclaimer on, like, if you're gonna watch this, like, you need to really prepare yourself, because it's one of the most upsetting documentaries I've ever seen. It's
a saga. It will haunt you.
I'm still haunted.
It'll fuck with your dreams. I think I was having like fucked up dreams. Same. It's also like weirdly boring, but then also compelling at the same time.
It's captivating.
It's captivating, yet boring. I can't explain it other than that.
Well, they were boring.
Okay, so for anyone that was hiding under a rock, The Cut published a piece, or New York Mag, I guess it was on The Cut, about this cult.
How many years ago? Like 5 years ago?
Maybe. I thought it was like
or 4 years ago.
I can't, anything, 2018 to now is all one big year to me.
Yeah.
But somewhere in there was an article about like these students at Sarah Lawrence College who,
if you don't know, is like right outside of Manhattan.
Yeah, it was the college that Julia Stiles wanted to go to in 10 Things I Hate About You.
It used to be all girls, and now it's co-ed.
Now it's girls and gays.
No, yeah, girls and closeted gays.
So these students were essentially being not even held captive, but like they were just subservient to another student's dad who had them living with him for years, and everyone at the school was like, this is fucked up, but no one was doing anything about it, and not even the school.
Oh, they were doing the least.
Yeah, because I guess he moved into the student dorms, and that's like how he met all these people, because he moved in with his daughter after getting out of jail, and then he like Svengali'd like 6 different college students.
Like 9.
And whisked them away to an apartment in Manhattan.
The most harrowing apartment. Guys, so yeah, they were living off campus. They had like a freshman year. There were this really tight group of friends. This was like 2009. And then in 2010, the beginning of their sophomore year, they were living off campus in this house that was like kind of far away from like the main, and their one friend's dad was sleeping on their couch, and like one by one, this guy Larry Ray, he'd been in like the CIA, he was in the Marines, he did like...
So he says.
Well, yeah, obviously, but this is what he told them. Like, he did PSYOP work against like the Soviet Union in the 80s, and then he was like affiliated with Rudy Giuliani and like the head of the NYPD, and like he was like a whistleblower, and he legit what? Like, I guess there was like local news segments about him.
He had 3 pictures that he circulated that consisted of the proof of his past as being like
Gorbachev,
a picture with Gorbachev, a picture with
Rudy.
like Rudy, and a picture with the head of the police department or something.
What was his name? Like Barry? Belchak.
So he convinces all these students to move with him into this apartment building, and then just like insanity ensues.
For years.
But like, okay, I'm shocked at the apartment built. I didn't know that he was such a hoarder, and his behavior is so like
Hoarder.
Adderall psychosis behavior
Yeah.
that went on for years. Like, he would just ply all these kids with like Adderall and be like, we have projects to do, and like put them to work, but they would accomplish nothing.
It was like, it's meth head behavior.
It's crazy. And I really knew something was wrong when they moved a huge like
Saw.
1,000-pound saw into their apartment to be able... I'm just saying, that's when I knew. I was like, these people are on way too many drugs.
It was like Manson. He had like a group of young, and these are like, Sarah Lawrence is like an amazing, it's like, these are very smart kids. One of them eventually, there's one guy who was dating Larry's daughter, who, by the way, the daughter like pieced out, has no accountability, and like is like, live, laugh, love, have fun with my dad.
Yeah, where is Talia Ray? She has no charges against her.
I mean, she was named as a co-conspirator.
But she's not been charged with anything.
But she was just like, she basically, anyway.
How are you gonna like?
I can't even get started on that one. But like, this one guy has, not only is he in it, they bring his younger sister, his older sister. His younger sister was at Columbia. Not to be like a snob, but like, these are like very smart people. His older sister was a fucking Harvard graduate that was like a physician and studying to be a psychiatrist.
Yeah, she was in her second year residency.
And like at like UCLA or something, and like,
no, at Columbia.
Anyway,
she was Harvard then to Columbia.
But brilliant girl, and then met Larry once and went fully psychotic in like
or USC actually.
She went fully psychotic in like 3 weeks. Yeah. After meeting him once. And this guy is like a bald, like kind of chunky, ugly man who like has the voice of, I don't even know what that voice is.
He has like eyes though that are like transfixing to some degree. Like on its face, I kind of get it. Bald daddy vibes. And he has like kind brown eyes, like kind of like puppy eyes. And he's just like
smart, highly
manipulative. Even he underwent a psych eval when he was getting divorced. And the person who evaluated him said like he can manipulate his way out of any situation. Like I can't even properly evaluate this person because they're so manipulative. So he really used like mind control tactics and like a bunch, basically like torture tactics to manipulate these young people into doing his bidding for the better part of a decade.
And like there's one guy who like was struggling with his sexuality, and then Larry was like, you're not gay and I'm gonna prove it. So he made him like have sex with one of the other girls that Larry was also having sex with, and like forced him to have threesomes with him, and was giving him like a sexual education, when really I was like, Larry, you're a little gay.
Yeah, you're kind of gay. He just wanted to Eiffel Tower.
He did, but
and like see if he was gay. But then he was like, I think I'm straight.
Yeah.
I was into like the workout regimen that he put everyone on. He was like, you need to wake up. I'm going to play a playlist for you. And then you're going to do like 10 push-ups, 10 burpees, 10 blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, every week we'll increase it. And then the guys was like, pretty soon you're doing 400 push-ups. So that's like legit. And I was like, everyone did get a little bit hotter at first.
Yeah, but it was like they're all doing Adderall, they're all crashing. He's like, he says, I need you to be raw when we do our sessions. In the beginning, he pulled each of them aside and like worked on something. And the first girl, Isabella, who was like his most fierce lieutenant, like after like one meeting, he made her call her mom in Texas and be like, I'm not coming home for Christmas because I was molested when I was a kid and you let it happen.
And I never want to talk to you again.
And she never did.
Isabella is still, she also got charged in conjunction with Larry as like a co-conspirator. And I guess she still stands by him, but pled to one of the lesser charges for money laundering, I believe, and then made a public statement against him. But I really think that was just like a tactic on her defense's part to like get her off of charges. I don't think that she actually is like against him.
No, she calls him Lawrence.
She's the like,
she's scary.
It's really scary.
But she's also the saddest one for me because she is, I think, almost like the biggest victim out of all of it.
Yeah, but I'm also like, girl, you're about to have a rude awakening.
You're
like
going
you
to
are
jail
going to prison
for like 15 years or 5.
I think that's why she pled to this, because there's no like hard minimum that you have to do. So I guess that she would just wait to get sentenced, and hoping that she gets like probation or something like that.
And then Felicia, like,
Felicia's the one that darked me out the most because I was like,
you see her coming to almost like in real time. Like you see her snapping out in question mark out of psychosis.
well, she was the one too that had like the most firm life path and was like, grew up being like, my dream is to go to Harvard. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a scientist. Worked so hard to get a full ride scholarship to Harvard, full ride scholarship to Columbia. Was in her second year of residency, like a licensed psychiatrist, like very, very smart, and then got completely derailed. And you can tell that there's such a like she kind of doesn't have the wherewithal to understand what's happening. So she does just like revert to a truly like
child.
She is Joker vibes.
There's like moments where you see her sibling, because Larry also, like every megalomaniac, recorded everything and filmed himself and like recorded all of his phone calls, which I'm like, you're dumbass for that. But
yeah, that's always like, how are you gonna like talk to a journal? I love, you can be running this ring basically he was getting all their money
from their parents
and supporting them by having like I think multiple girls were being forced to do sex work on his behalf, and like he was basically their pimp. Like they would just give him all the money.
Also, Claudia scared me. She made me the saddest, kind of, actually.
Because they all made me incredibly sad.
I know, but he, for some reason, like humiliated her the most. Like she had to the public lashing she got was so public. What she had to like, he made one of the girls, he convinced her she had schizophrenia, and then eventually turned her and forced her into sex work, and also forced her to make a website that was like visible to the public where she...
Well, he made it to extort her because I think she started to be resistant and like try and break away. And that was his revenge, was to like extort her and humiliate her, basically saying like, I'm going to put this out on the internet and like humiliate you if you don't give me all this money. And like at one point went to her house with Isabella and like they beat her up and put a bag over her head. And that's when they made her like record that thing. I think she was trying to like escape kind of, or have some sort of separation. And then he was like not having it.
She looked so gaunt too.
The whole thing, I was like, it's just insane that he was able to do this for so long. And then also like,
fuck the school.
Yeah. But also I'm like, it's insane that like the work that they were doing around the clock was just nothing. Like they were I don't know what they were doing. They were like, they would move dirt around. They would move piles of stuff in an apartment around, or just like acquire more saws and like woodworking equipment. And then they would go into the country and like he would get a bunch of tractors and make them like dig up grass and then just move mud from like here to there and like dig trenches that like went nowhere. Like
it's tweaker behavior.
The level of nothing getting accomplished, like I'd be out. That's when I would be like, we've got to go. Like I'm not accomplishing anything.
My favorite was the like kind of the girl who was like never fell for it and was like always calling him out and like would go around campus and be like, they're in a fucking cult. And no one would listen to her. Yeah. She was my favorite.
She was cool, but I was also like...
She's a little like self-righteous.
You're being a bit of a bitch. Like you're a little holier than thou. Granted, you deserve to be in this situation, but like...
But it's on the school. It's really like in a lot of ways. Like they should have remedied this from the start. There's a weird middle-aged man living on a couch in student housing who was in jail. So he says. I don't even think he was in jail.
He was in jail.
I thought it was. I thought they didn't know for sure if he was in jail.
No, he went to prison for fraud. He violated his probation.
Oh, right.
And
okay.
He got probation and then he violated it when he kidnapped his daughter. And then...
Talia?
Yeah. And then he was found guilty of like violating his probation. That's when he went to prison.
But like, just the whole thing. And then they ended up moving to like Piscataway, New Jersey, which is like...
where they moved more mud. I'm just the level of mud moving. I can't get over that.
It's
the mud moving and the hoarding and just the much ado about nothing except hoarding and mud moving is wild to me.
Yeah,
and
convinced that, and there were
the darkest part too was like when the documentary filmmakers went into his New Jersey house to like interview Izzy and Felicia is truly, I'm like, she's starting. I was like, someone please help this woman. She's like giggling and like laughing, like just walking down the halls and like being like, and that's where the fridge is locked up because we have to protect it from people just trying to steal our food. And then like would go into another room and point. She like, these are our medical record. He convinced everyone too that they'd been poisoned. So that's why they like, he was like, it all stemmed back to which was Methy, and this is his true love story, was he was convinced, basically his real name was Larry Greco, and then his ties to Russia was that he actually was involved with the Russian mob and like doing a pump and dump like fraud scheme with them, and that's how he got what he got caught for initially. And then like this guy that he was friends with, who was, I guess, the head of the police department,
police commissioner,
he tried to say that guy Belchik was the reason, like was framing him or setting him up, and then he just never let go of that suspicion.
It's meth.
And then convinced the whole reason for like getting these kids under his control was to like implant memories in them that they had like met Belchik. Like,
it's not funny.
It's not
so
funny, but
sad.
it is insane that they met Belchik at a young age and that he like conspired with their families to poison them to build a case against this guy to like expose him and finally get him in trouble. But I'm like, wow, he really is fixated on this guy.
He also like Felicia, even after she broke away from him, was like explaining, you see her like months later and she's like out of the spell, but then the filmmaker's like talking, she goes, well, I met Belchik when I was like 7. And he goes, you met him? She goes, yeah, when I was really young. And then you see her go like, and she goes, wait, I don't actually know if that's true. And I was just like, oh my God, you're like, I think she's damaged for life.
I think he
broke her brain.
When you go through, it's like Britney Spears. It's like when you go through like a total psychotic break, your brain like does not recover and you will never get back to how you were before that happened.
And the siblings, they're poor parents, and the siblings, there's one part where Felicia's having like, she's like almost like possessed, and she's like going like nah, 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 and like reverting to like child babble.
Tantrum. No.
And her brother Santa.
We'll just wait. Tony. No, come here.
And every time she moves or twitches, her brother slaps himself, and he's like injuring him. Like he's like, every time you do this, I have to slap myself. So you see a video, she's going and every time she thrashes, he's slapping himself, and I'm just like, this is. And they're all like just sitting there watching. Like, I've never seen anything like it.
It really reminded me of like shit that we went through at boarding school with just like, I was like, damn, we were all being like mind control manipulated by these elders, because it's very much the same. It's similar tactics. It's like confronting someone in front of a group, putting them on the spot, forcing them to like, you break them down and you like won't stop with them until they go along with your narrative. And then you basically like, they're weak, so you can implant whatever you want. Like it was a diet version of Larry and serving, I guess, a different person, which was like just the narrative of the school. We certainly weren't being told to find Belchik, but like, I can't get over that it was just all for Belchik. He's gay. He's gay for Belchik.
Larry's gay.
Larry's gay. He has sinister gay energy.
And was that guy gay, do you think? The one
he had gay vibes with both those guys. There was another bald like papa who he was like, we spent all our time together. It was just always Larry and me. I was like, you're gay in the suburbs.
Yeah.
What's the real tea?
Larry's the OG. He's the OG sinister gay.
The most sinister gay of all. But like,
it's scary though. It's sad. And like, you're watching it and you're just like I kept being like, this could never happen to me. But like, you never know.
That could never happen to me. That just simply couldn't.
No, I don't think it would for either of us, but I'm just saying like it's such a malleable age in college.
Well, I think he also was finding people that had tenuous relationships with their family. So like that whole family of like brothers Santos, Felicia, and Yalitza, like they had a weird relationship with their parents to begin with, because didn't Santos say like his dad was always cheating on his mom and he didn't know it was true or not, and it was like a lot of drama,
gaslighting.
And then their parents, like, I think it also was like a class thing and kind of like a white privilege thing, because
totally he was preying on
parents
like,
are like
they're
poor
they're
essentially
immigrants.
And the kids have had to they have to work in order to get where they are, like just work for themselves, and the parents can't help them financially to like pull them out, and they have this like fractured relationship with their parents. So it's also sad to see, because it's like these parents are like, I just got the sense that the parents were like hyper religious, and instead of really taking any sort of action, it's like they're very passive in the relationship with their children, and for the children it's just on them whether or not they succeed in life.
Well, they're like first generation Americans, and like,
that's like what it be, I guess, sometimes for people. But like at the same time, I was just like, damn, if you fuck up as a parent with your kids, you're opening a huge doorway for a Larry type to get in there. And I think that gay who, like the tall, hot gay who kind of got out after a while, it seemed like his parents were like pretty chill and like reaching out to him and like trying.
Well, they were also like, it seemed like he came from privilege.
Yeah.
So like there was like a class difference with a lot of, especially because Sarah Lawrence is like a very like expensive, but like Santos and his sisters, like, you're right, like they're working class, non-white family. And I think Larry was preying on both like the privilege of these kids and also with like extorting them, and also preying on like the vulnerability of like a family that's not as like privileged or doesn't have as much income.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anything like it. It was one of the darkest things I've ever seen.
No, it's insane.
And I remember when I read the Cut article, I remember having like that nausea feeling reading it, because it just scared me so much, because like college is a really weird time, and like your brain is like mush in college, and like, he swooped in at like the right time when because your brain isn't fully developed when you're in college.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a vulnerable place for kids to be in, because it's like you're on your own, but you're still like a kid. You still have to like call home and like tell, you know what I mean? And he just, yeah.
Well, if you're just like not sure of yourself, or you're searching, or you have like pain that someone can exploit, like you're kind of the perfect victim for a person like Lair.
He's evil, and I'm glad he's going to die in prison.
Yeah, same. He's like someone that truly deserves to be in prison for the rest of their lives.
Well, he's a threat to society.
Yeah.
And his daughter, I'm sorry, no offense to Tolia, because she's a victim too in a lot of ways, but like, fuck her.
Where is she though? I need like a separate report on Talia, because has she just been like live, laugh, loving in NYC, like just being like, my dad's cray, but it's whatever. Like she wasn't around.
No, she pieced out. She was in the apartment for like a hot sex sleeping in the same room as her dad and her best friend, who the dad was fucking.
I think the dad was fucking Talia too.
Yeah.
I think that he's probably molesting her, and he was like weirdly fixated on her. Like,
no, I know. I think that was clear, and I think I said she's a victim too, but like she also like needs to have a little accountability with this.
Well, I mean, just even like an apology note would be nice.
Sorry, Doles.
Doles, really sorry about that.
Sorry about Cole. No, she like
Doles, remember my dad?
She
sorry.
like fucked right off and was like living on campus being like LLL, like class of 2013. And on their
she was dating Santos for a while, both in the apartment. And then Larry started getting ready to snatch Santos's wig and basically saying like, you're destroying property and like make a list. He loved making lists. He loved telling people you're destroying my property and convincing them to make a list of all the property that they destroyed. And they would just write a list of everything in the apartment and say that they destroyed it when it was also still there, and then say they would pay him back.
It wasn't even Larry's apartment. It was some like lawyer's apartment.
But like, why did that guy?
Yeah, what
that guy was like.
I'm sorry. Fuck him too, because he could have stopped that and been like, get out of my apartment and call the police and have them be evicted.
I'm really weirded out by I have just so many questions. I don't have a lot. I have a lot of answers, but I have even more questions now.
Who was supplying Larry with all these bulldozers? Literally.
Where was he getting?
No, that's what I'm saying.
He had so many bulldozers. How did they get that saw in that apartment?
Did he just have so many? Did people just like fall under his spell all the time?
How did people only see? He literally got into people's heads with 3 photos of proof.
Can I say something?
3 photos were the only pics we ever saw of Lair, and they were his entire history, and no one even batted an eye after that.
Really fast before we get into the episode. Last night I was at Whole Foods and I just ran in to get blueberries and Waterloo, and I was parked on the end of like, there was no car next to me. It was like the last spot, and I was walking out and this guy was just standing there with this older guy, and he shouted something at me and I was like, what? And he goes, I thought he said that I somehow hit the old guy's car because my bumper's a little wonky and I just haven't gotten it fixed because I'm poor. Mm-hmm. But like, he came out and I was like, excuse me, and I was about to be like, that's not possible. And he came over and he was like, I'm a mechanic, and he was like examining my bumper, and I was like, yeah, I know I have to get it fixed, I just don't have the money right now to fix it. And I'm like, it's not illegal, so like whatever. And he was like showing me videos on his phone of some gay guy being like, oh my god, this guy just fixed my car, like this really like handsome preppy gay guy who has a BMW.
He was targeting you in the parking lot.
He was, and he had a wonk eye, and one of his eyes was like over here, and he was like really charismatic, but like pulled me in, and I was getting a little like Felicia'd, and I was just like, oh my god, I'm falling under, and I literally was snapped out of it. And he's like, do you want to wire me $200 right now?
No.
And I said no. I go, no, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, thank you. And I got into my car and I sped off.
Oh my god.
But he pulled out a video, and he had different videos, and he showed me, he's like, this gay is gonna fall for it. He showed me like a gay guy, this like WeHo gay, being like, wow, my car was just fixed immediately. He just plunged it basically outward and fixed my BMW.
I'm obsessed with, do you want to wire me $200 now?
He's like,
no.
He's like, how much would you pay for this? I was like, well, I don't really know. And because I don't really, and he goes, well, just tell me any number. He's like, do you want to forward me $200 now? And I went,
for what?
I went to fix it.
You're going to fix it now?
I was like, no. And then he went, all right, man, sorry. And he like ran back into it was really weird. But in my head, I was like,
he ID'd you as a potential mark, and he went in and made his Larry move. Thank God you didn't fall prey.
He picked the wrong one.
That's really scary.
Yeah, and he looked like Igor from Young Frankenstein.
Do you want to wire me $200 now? Yeah, I would love nothing more than to wire a stranger $200 in the dead of night.
A stranger in your gross matte black like Honda. Looks like, I was like, your car needs to go to the mechanic. Who are you? Just driving around?
He needs to be reported to at least Whole Foods.
And was that old guy part of his scheme?
Probably. He has like, was it the Whole Foods on Santa Monica? Yeah. That one is cursed. I never go to that one anymore because that parking lot is,
it's hell
on earth, and only bad things are happening in it. And this just proves my theory. I go to 3rd and Fairfax. It's a mega Whole Foods. It's huge. There's always parking. There's zero drama.
Well,
Dull.
I'm Carey.
I'm Lara.
And you're listening to
Sexy Unique Podcast. Wire us $200 today.
Today on Wire us $200.
Honestly, if you wired me $200, I would do more for you than that guy. I would be like, thank you. And that would be even doing more than that guy would do. Like, he would just take your money. I would be gracious and probably even throw you a little video.
I love how he had but he clearly had videos for every kind of person.
Yeah. He needs to work on the scam. He needs to streamline it a little bit more.
I think
a daytime scam would be a little bit better than a nighttime scam. I think posting up at night in a parking lot asking people to wire you $200 to fix their janky bumper is more creepy. But if you're daytime, I would say maybe go on a lunch break and target the lunch crowd. I have a lot of constructive criticism for him.
He had a bad phone and dirty nails.
That's mechanic vibes.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he's works with oil.
He's a real grease monkey.
He's a real man. This episode was dark. It was kind of sad.
I love it.
Oh, I loved it, but it was an emotional episode.
Yeah, things are really happening for all these people. I think it's nice to see people in various states of hell.
Mm-hmm.
Raquel, I would say, is in the most hell of all.
She made me sad.
Shortly behind her,
Schwartz.
I would say, is Schwartz is approaching, but he's not in hell yet. He's too jovial about it. He's using his private hell for attention.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't truly entered the hell zone. But you know who has entered the hell zone?
Peter?
No, he's still outside of the hell zone too, but it's coming for him. Probably when this episode aired is when he entered his hell zone.
I don't know.
But I actually don't. I have a theory about Peter
capable.
that he never enters hell.
I don't think he's bright enough.
And that's kind of what's amazing about him and why he will stand the test of time.
Who?
Greg, the co-investor in Schwartz and Sandy's restaurant.
Oh, I thought his name was Brett.
No, his name's Greg. Brett might be the smiley gay. Greg is definitely the investor guy.
Yeah,
he's in hell.
He's in hell. He's in Vanderpump hell.
He's tied financially to two of the dumbest people ever to exist. His has tons of money wrapped up in this business with literal nitwits. And he just got in a motorcycle accident.
And he has to work with Vanderpump.
And he's
aesthetic.
now, forever tied to Vanderpump Rules. He's entered hell, and you see it, and I'm really excited to live this hell with him tangentially on the show.
I wrote he wants to unalive himself.
He absolutely does.
Schwartz is wearing a bucket hat
that doesn't fit his huge skull.
He's going through a midlife crisis. Gen Z shit.
He's so
he's unwell.
He's deeply unwell.
I just wrote, how does he look so confused all the time?
Because he he literally doesn't know left from right.
Sandoval is with it at least.
Yeah. Sandoval
is really smart, I think.
Is a hard worker, and he wants to try. And he does try. He's doing his best. And I think that if Sandoval. I think if Sandy Ball dropped Schwartz and cut the dead weight.
He needs to lose him.
He needs to lose him immediately. You know what he needs to do? He needs to buy Schwartz out of that restaurant.
He'd be so much Schwartz better.
And then I think that he would be in a position to thrive, and he and Greg can take it from here.
Schwartz is weighing him down.
He has been for years.
And Sandoval's in on the joke more, I think.
Yeah.
He gets that it's this is all ridiculous.
But he also gets that it's a business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarah.
So they interview a bunch of people.
I wrote Sarah works at a bar in Manhattan Beach. Sad face.
This kind of vibe, it's it definitely is a South Bay vibe. It doesn't shock me that people that are
San Pedro.
like South Bay. That's more like Long Beach, but I'm like Manhattan Beach, Seal Beach, Hermosa. Like this is the same kind of vibe as like the nightlife in that part of town, which I mean, I love a Hermosa moment, but I was just like, okay, this is all tracking. The lack of resumes and professionalism in these interviews was also right on brand.
I mean, I myself, who had no experience in restaurants, I at least made up. My cousin, who was a waiter in New York, had me write down all the restaurants he worked at. So I like lied through my teeth, but like this guy didn't even. He was bold. He was like, "Well, I'm open to being a server, maybe a busser."
They go, so it says here you're a personal trainer, but then I don't see anything else on your resume. He's like, yeah, I didn't finish it. And it cuts to Greg, and I also wrote Greg is suicidal.
Yeah,
Greg is literally on the fucking brim.
And he goes to Sarah. He goes, "How do you serve in those nails?"
Which is a rude question.
Yeah, I was like,
don't fuck off with girls and their nails. They literally do it. But even her answer, I was like, you guys, get your shit together. She goes, when I have my nails, I'm a bad bitch. I was like, don't say that to your boss.
And then Craig, the nightlife bouncer for like I think a gay club in WeHo.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm just not really feeling it anymore.
I was like, again, not the thing to say to your potential employers. Like, is everyone brain damaged that lives in Los Angeles? These are moments where I'm like, how are you alive right now?
And you're like, how am I living
How
here?
do you walk out the door of your house and not just immediately get mowed down in traffic? You're so dumb.
Or get like swindled by a wonky-eyed.
How are you not like Larry'd, like literally up in a high rise with 1,000-pound saw, sleeping on an air mattress and like woodworking and moving piles of dirt around
And getting like punched.
With the hammer.
God.
Larry was very abusive.
That was so sad when he had the guy's tongue in with pliers. I was like, that was one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Also, he's like, Izzy, film this shit. And she's like,
Izzy?
Izzy?
Lawrence? But she kept calling him Lawrence.
She goes, I got Lawrence this shirt. She bought a shirt for him, even though he's in jail and he's like awaiting trial. And she's filming with the documentary crew. Felicia has basically been like, bye, bitch. I'm never speaking to you again. My lawyers say you're toxic.
And she's still living.
The first thing Izzy does is like go out and buy a plaid shirt that reminds her of Lawrence. I was like, honey, if everyone has if you have lived in a house of people and you had 1,000-pound saw and you had to sleep with a man named Lawrence and your friend was sex working for him and everyone in your life has left you and the most recent person to live with you has also left you and said, my lawyers are telling me not to speak to you. It's time to wake up. You're in big trouble. If someone says my lawyers are telling me
not to address
we should not be speaking anymore,
that's bottom of the barrel.
That's like
end of the
something's
road.
Wrong.
End of the line.
I love going through all that and being like,
I'm gonna get a shirt at.
Guess what? I gotta get a plaid shirt,
at
and
H&M.
then I'm really gonna fight this case against me because this man did nothing wrong. I'm gonna hope to see Lawrence again. You're never gonna see Lawrence again.
No, and you're going to jail.
And yeah, you're also gonna rot in hell. Schwartz says he values personality over experience when it comes to employees.
Well, we know that's true with him. The man.
If I were Greg, I would be like making a noose in the bathroom.
Yeah, it's like an airplane when he's telling this, and everyone's. Raquel and Peter go to La Boheme, which is if you don't. For those non-locals, it's a place I'm so curious. I've
eaten there one time.
Let's go.
No.
I'm going. Simon
I
and I
ate there
going.
one time. You and Simon should go there for like an anniversary dinner. I ate there once and I said I will never come back here. It's inexplicably so expensive.
It looks like a bordello.
Yeah. It's like a bordello of blood inside. And I was like, this food is so mid and yet so unbelievably expensive. And I was like, this is the first and last time I will visit this establishment.
I'm just haunted by its endurance.
COVID did not take La Boheme out.
It must be a front. It has to be something. La Boheme was thriving during the pandemic.
I really need someone to get boots on the ground.
I will
live reporting.
I will.
I'm scared.
I'm going to La Boheme, and I'm gonna go into a place of Lawrence.
You're about to spend like $47 on tuna tartare.
Let's go.
I'm not going.
No, I'm saying let's go. Like for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm hyping myself up.
You're about to get Larry'd. You're putting yourself in situations where the Larry is lurking. Ugh. La Boheme is another ground zero.
So Raquel is like kind of reluctantly on this next date. Peter's like in love with her.
I could watch Peter go on dates all day. I think they should have a spin-off show, maybe not on Bravo, but just like on YouTube.
On Tubi.
On Tubi. Yeah, on Pluto. on Pluto, the free network that
Crackle.
literally serves you 48 minutes of ads for each episode of TV that they're like, it's free, but they literally rot your brain from the inside out with ads. It's one of the worst services I've ever.
Just to see Peter going on bad dates.
But I would maybe put up with it just if it was Peter going on dates with women who are realizing that they've hit rock bottom in their lives and
She's like, I'm at La Boheme with Peter, with a man who has a ponytail.
He's so like earnest but he so thinks that he is in on the joke and like is like laughing, but he could not be more out of the joke.
Raquel is like more in on the joke than him. Raquel is literally like, she's rock bottoming. She just did Miss USA. She tried out to be Miss California. She placed in the top 15. She starts crying because she's like,
the top 15. I'm like,
how many are there?
But also like, isn't there just one?
That's like when I got
like, if you're not first, you're last.
When I tried diving one summer, I got 9th out of 10 at Tri-County. But I was like,
I was in the top 10. She's like, in the top 15. So what? You were 15th? That seems like.
She said Donald Trump decided years ago that a woman's peak is at 27.
Cruel.
So she's like, so I've aged out and I'm not allowed to compete ever again.
Basically geriatric at this point.
And so she starts crying because she's like, I'm old and I don't know where my life is going.
She goes, well, and it sent me into a deep depression. And Peter goes, wait, deep depression? He goes, are you still in a deep depression? You are. And he's like smiling. Yeah. I was like, Peter, what's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
I think he's just like dumb as a pile of bricks.
And then he goes over and like awkwardly comforts her and she's like crying. I've been this before. I've been on a date where I start crying because I'm like, my life is in shambles. And the other person's just like, let's get at it. You need to go home.
I've been on a date where I'm like, it doesn't get much worse than this. And I haven't cried, but I've been like, this is a real wake up call for me. Just putting myself in the situation of going on that date with a type of person like this.
It's sad.
Wait.
You're in a
deep depression.
You're still in one, aren't you?
Are you still in a deep depression?
You are.
You are. And then he hugs her and she's like, I don't want to get makeup. I don't want to get makeup on your shirt, meaning I don't want to fucking touch you.
It's also 100 degrees.
Yeah. I was like, I know exactly what point of summer this is.
It's July.
Sweltering heat on the patio of La Boheme with Peter Madrigal.
And you're crying and your makeup is running.
And you literally are over the hill at 27. You've placed like 15th in a pageant.
You see a shot of her doing her little twirl and you just hear like one guy going, hoo, hoo, hoo.
Wait, Raquel, I literally just realized is Felicia.
She is.
She was like,
she's primed.
Remember she went to school to be like a physical therapist.
Yeah.
And she was like getting her master's or about to like go get her master's. And literally Lisa Ray derailed. I'm just saying.
We'll get to it, but James is pissing me off.
Yeah.
LaLa and Maloney go get organic spray tans.
I've been to this place.
You have?
Sugared and bronzed.
Is it good?
It was good. I mean,
I have to pee. Hold on.
Okay. Sugared and bronzed was okay, but when I got bronzed there, they missed like the part between my butt, like cheek and my thigh. So it's like if I bent over, it would just be like a white moon. And then I thankfully caught that in the room before I got dressed. So then I just asked them if they could have someone come and spray my taint or that area, which also it's just a sweep, and then it was fine.
Your moon.
Yeah.
Where is it? WeHo?
I think they have a lot of locations. The one I went to is in WeHo. I like LaLa getting real about sobriety.
Yeah, LaLa's basically like Schwartz is kind of like, I'm not in a place. My sobriety right now is so tenuous that like I can't forgive anyone right now, and I have to go like 180, like 100 on people instead of giving them grace, because if I don't, I could relapse.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I've been there.
Drag his ass.
Yeah.
Also, it's not worth fucking up your sobriety for Tom Schwartz of all people.
She's like, I have to be sober for my kid, and she's already going through so much with Randall. She was real in this. I really understood her.
Yeah.
I've been there where you're just like, my capacity is at its limit, and you either do everything, you either are completely my friend or get the fuck away. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to just tolerate me right now.
Fair. Tom and Ariana go get a couch, and Ariana reveals that her love language is quality time. And I was like, same. What's your love language?
Do
you know what they are?
Stolen affection.
I don't think that's a love language.
What?
Physical affection?
Like stuff that only you notice. Like affection that like it feels like intimate, like in a room when there's people everywhere and it's like you.
But do you know the love languages? Like,
no,
there's a book. There's like 5 love language. Oh, okay. It like broke it down.
What
I
are
need
they?
you to take a test to see. Maybe not today, but I was like very curious.
What are they?
They are quality time, touch, gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service.
I think touch.
Yeah. Physical touch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Feeling physically taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to send you the thing, and you will offline. You can take it and then let me know.
Back.
I just love to know what people's love languages are.
Quality time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that too. Maybe a mix of those.
This is the 3rd couch that the Toms have bought for their cursed endeavors.
I hate bars that have like old couches.
This one also cost $3,000.
There was a bar in Williamsburg that had like, it was like kind of like Victorian aesthetic with like, and it was like kind of cool, but they had old ass couches, and I always felt like a real alcoholic when I was sitting on them.
Yeah. Also, it's a couch that's just an entryway. I guess it's like for people waiting for a table. I don't know.
I mean, Sir has couches.
Yeah, the aesthetic
I don't get it.
is not for me.
Nope.
It's a little world market for my taste, but go with love.
I have a couch from World Market on my balcony. An outdoor couch.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's different.
Yeah.
LaLa goes to Lisa's, and Lisa goes, "Your little doggies are coming out to play," about her tits. She goes, "You're like a little glamour puss."
Lisa is like, the way LaLa talks, she's so like, she titillates Lisa. Mm-hmm. She's kind of vulgar and like, she's crass. And I think Lisa gets it's like kind of with Brandy a little, but not as much, because LaLa is like smarter and has more self-awareness, I think.
And is also sober.
And is sober. But like, I think she gets a kick out of like a younger sex kitten.
I think that Lisa is in cahoots with LaLa to make it known to the audience and anyone that would have curiosity about LaLa's knowledge of Randall. Like, I think this was a premeditated conversation.
I agree. She's helping her out.
Yeah. But I love that Lisa's in bed with her and will throw her a bone.
I want them to be on
Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
I know. She goes, "What about you and James? You had a shag once."
I was like, ew.
Lisa, God.
She's such a boomer. She's a British boomer.
So they bring up Rand in the LA Times article, and Lisa's like, you must have known. And then LaLa says no. And that he had a therapist essentially, I guess, lie for him, or he lied to his therapist. Either way, she flew to Arizona to like meet this therapist, which I'm like, that's red flag number 1.
Randall is a walking red flag.
Truly. There's nothing but red flags with this man.
Sorry to this man.
She goes, I fly to Arizona. I meet with this therapist. She says that he wasn't married. And like his ex was like a codependent. And then I just decided to take him at his word. And I just like don't say anything after that.
And Lisa goes, but LaLa, you're smarter than that. You don't tell me you didn't notice a single thing. You have to have noticed something.
I love it. They practiced the scene. Lisa like practiced the scene as she got ready for the day.
And LaLa's like, I thought you as someone that I can really depend on as a friend would know this about me. And then she goes, there. Don't cry, LaLa. I'm just simply asking the questions.
She goes, you haven't seen him in months. And Lisa goes, he contacted me the day Pandy gave birth and wanted to come by, but I said no, and I thought that was so strange. And then Lala goes, yeah, it's really strange considering he literally had a girlfriend the day that I gave birth to Ocean, and then she moved in 2 days after I moved out. And Lisa goes, no, she didn't. And she goes, yeah. I was like, these ladies, I could also watch a show of them. They need to be upgraded. No, she did not.
She did not. He did come. He's called the day Pandy gave birth and considered coming by to say hello. And I thought, isn't that sort of unusual?
Isn't that odd?
Isn't that peculiar?
What about you and James? You would have shagged
before. But LaLa, you're smarter than that.
LaLa, you're telling me you didn't know a thing?
Lisa's acting is so bad.
It's really bad. She could take a learning annex class on just like scene work.
I just wrote LaLa as a warrior.
LaLa is a warrior.
She's out here trying to provide for her baby Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks amazing, and she has her ears pinned back, and she's sober, and she looks flawless.
She's never
queen.
looked better. Fucking cheekbones to the gods. Hair blonde. Icy blonde.
Cheeks.
Brows microbladed. Cheeks to the gods. Contour on feet.
Gods.
LaLa.
LaLa.
You're telling me you had to have known.
I'd have to say I did read the LA Times piece, and I thought it was sort of it was a true explosive article.
And now with the LA Times. I couldn't help but wonder. She must have known.
She must have had some indication of these things going on. LaLa or Raquel, we go to her like little studio. She has vertical blinds.
She's living in a
clack.
She's living in a cell, but she's cutting up a cheese plate and making the best of it.
She has one of the thing that got me the most, other than the vertical blinds, were the little placard that said "C'est la vie."
That's sweet.
I love her.
I love her
for
too.
Raquel.
I
get
really
it.
root for her.
She's in her mid to late 20s. I was rock bottoming at this time too. I get it.
Yeah, I had a
hard year.
Horrible crisis at 28, like an existential level crisis.
Yeah, it's really painful.
So it's coming. Also, Graham is sick. I was like, your dog, you need to like stop production now. Like your dog is sick. He wouldn't eat, and then he's like slowly
What happened?
going. I don't know. I think he's better now.
I think Graham is sick. I'm thinking about taking him to the hospital. Scheana Shay comes over and she goes, oh my God, you got everything in here that you need. Oh my God, I love this.
You know, Scheana's inner monologue is like, thank fucking God I don't live here. She's like, oh my God, it's so cute. You have everything.
Thank God I got to go home to Marina Del Rey tonight.
C'est la vie. Ariana comes over with a little plant.
Ariana's just like a soothing presence on screen.
Yeah, she's a real calming. She's like a warm cup of tea.
Ariana, you're like a warm bath. You're balm.
They hype
They hype
Raquel up. And Raquel says, Scheana's like, or Ariana's like, you made out with Peter. We all saw it. And Raquel's like, I don't remember. And then Scheana goes, she's cried on 2 out of 4 of the dates they've had. And I was like, that is a 50% cry rate. You need to break things off with this man.
She goes, Scheana goes, I saw you guys at Sir making out. And I was just like, can you imagine making out at Sir?
No.
With fart clouds coming everywhere around you. It's just, God, I know it literally, doesn't it smell like farts in there?
It just has a fart like aura. Like even if it doesn't smell like farts, it does in a way. And also like if someone like tried to push you up against one of the walls, like the drywall would crumble. They'd push you up against like a pillar and it would just be styrofoam.
It's like when someone runs through the wall and they're like,
yeah, you'd be like the Kool-Aid man. You can't get like thrown around in Sir. You would literally like break the bar.
Just,
Also imagine blacking out, making out with a man that you really don't want to be dating, and then the person that reminds you of it like 48 hours later is Scheana.
That's a rock bottom.
That is true rock bottom. Not only does she remind you of that, but she reminds you that you've cried on more of the dates.
2 out of 4.
2 out of 4 dates you cried.
But I was like, I wanted to be like Scheana.
But Scheana's also a good friend because she's telling you gotta break up with him.
She is, but I'm also like, we'll never forget Valletta.
Well, she would know. She would be a good point person. I wrote later, I was like, we all need like a hype man like Scheana, who literally comes up to us right after the man that we hate that we're dating leaves, and she goes, you've got to pull the plug. You've got this, girl.
God, I love her.
I love her so much.
She doesn't feel like she's really in the show anymore, though.
I know. I don't get it.
I'm like concerned. It's all about like Schwartz and Sandy.
I need Shishu. She's like has a baby, a husband. Someone said that she's like friend of now, which doesn't set right with me. Bring back Shishu.
Bring back my Scheana. Bring back my Scheana.
Bring back my Scheana.
Bring back my Scheana. Bring back my Azusa. Bring back my Azusa. We cut to
Allie and James are out for an early dinner.
Sorry.
What?
Allie's dumb.
I thought that she was 19 and then someone said she's also 27. And then I was like, oh.
I don't.
James likes kind of like vacant hot girls who are slow on the uptake of what is really going on.
She orders a burger and a Chardonnay. And
Yum.
James.
I would smash a burger Chardonnay combo right about now.
And James goes, your hair, you have the most beautiful hair of any girl I've ever seen. And he touches it and he goes, you're so beautiful. And she goes, I hate when you compliment me.
I think, okay, my hot take is that Allie doesn't really like him that much.
No, I don't. I think she like resents him.
But why are they living together?
Because she wants to be on TV. I think that's the reason. Sorry.
Who are you, Paul?
James Kennedy, if he's going to listen. I don't want him to yell at me on the street.
Fucking rock star.
Allie seems like a nice girl.
Did he move in with her? Or did she move in with him?
I think she moved in with him. I think this is fucked. The situation is fucked.
He is a codependent who can't be alone.
But Raquel, I don't blame her for rock bottoming.
No, it would be a mind fuck. And I don't even think that Allie likes James that much.
No.
I don't think that James likes Allie that much. I think it's all just like a fuck you to Raquel because Raquel broke off the relationship and was like, I can't do this. Like, here's your ring back. And now James is like making her pay and trying to make her like go through hell.
He orders a Moscow mule. And I'm like, she orders a cheeseburger and she eats it and he eats the lettuce out of her mouth. I was like, this is sick.
They love doing this on the show. They're always like baby birding food out of each other's mouths.
Yeah.
That's like how they show, that's their love language.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting.
Allie said something about Raquel in this episode that I didn't like.
What?
She said something about like she cries on dates or something. Like she said something like, and I was like, you can't say that.
Yeah. That's about to be you.
You need to earn your right to say that. Mm-hmm. You're a newbie on the show. You can't.
Have some respect.
Have some fucking respect.
Schwartz and Sandy are getting ready for the Daily Mail party.
Sandoval looks so hot.
He's so hot.
It's crazy.
Also, Greg is hanging on by a mere thread. Greg's actually like nowhere to be found right now.
He's in a place of...
Greg's chopping up like Vikes in the bathroom.
He's like
getting ready
Santos.
to take a fatal dose. Yeah.
He's harried.
He's like, when will this
hell
end? Only I have the key.
I said Ariana's so real because she goes, I got my outfit at Zara.
I loved that.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I would do.
Frugal queen.
Frugal, essential queen.
I also have to say that I love James's necklace that he's wearing.
Yeah, he looks hot.
It's chic and femme, and I would be like, give me that.
Are they still together?
No, I think they break up this season. And I think she's like, I hate when you drink. And he's like, well, I'm a fucking rock star. Again, it's how many people have to tell you that in order for you to stop drinking?
Well, Lisa says, as long as you've got things under control, my dear.
If things under control, then you can DJ my styrofoam restaurant for all of eternity.
My Footbox restaurant. You can spin those tracks as long as you stay away from the drink too much.
Lisa probably wants him to be fucked up because whenever she no doubt has someone else light a fire at Sir and burn it down for the insurance money, she wants no one that can be like a witness.
As long as you've not hitting the bottle too hard, just a little bit of the sweet sauce once in a while.
As long as you know where the exits are and you can run when you see a spark, that's all I care about.
That's all I care about.
I wouldn't want you to get burned alive in any freak accident.
But as long as you're a little toasted, it won't feel as bad.
Who's none the wiser?
A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. That's what I always say.
Maybe Sir smells like farts because they're slowly turning the gas.
Oh no,
out.
that's so scary.
I feel like it's been a really long time since there's been like a accident at one of her restaurants. I'm just
never forget a car drove
into Pump.
When was that? Was that pre-COVID?
That was pre-COVID.
Damn.
I think there was a fire during COVID at one of the properties. But it's been too long.
Things are plush right now.
It's been way too long, and it's time.
I think things are plush for old Vanderpump because of the Caesars and Paris restaurants.
Oh yeah,
she's making great.
But do you think one of those will?
No, dear.
Have a little accident.
No, she's as long as I'm in Vegas, dear. I've got these are just sort of my pet projects in LA.
I'm counting the minutes until another fire.
Don't even speak it into existence.
You know there has to be one.
There's something brewing. LaLa goes, so they're getting ready at Raquel's, and LaLa goes, let's not forget that this isn't an opening. It's an announcement that they are opening. And I was like...
It's an announcement that they aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's real for that.
She goes, I hate Schwartz, but she goes, I like Tom Sandoval and I appreciate hard work. And I was like, me too.
Yeah. She's a Utah queen.
Mm-hmm. James says hey to Lisa when everyone's hustling and bustling around the Daily Mail party.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you remember my girlfriend, Allie? And she's like, yes, we've met a couple times now. And then he spills the beans about Peter and Raquel dating.
Oh, this Allie says something to Lisa. Like she gives her tea about Raquel. And I was a little like, no, Allie. You watch yourself.
Yeah.
That you have to like pay your dues on the show.
I know.
You can't go right to the source.
And no one's really bullying Allie. This isn't like the olden days.
We would have had Stassi and Dowdy they would have had her up against the wall pointing at her within like an episode. Right?
If like the past 5 years had been completely different and like Me Too never happened and COVID never happened. If like Hillary had won, Vanderpump Rules would have stayed on the same trajectory and Dodie and Stassi would have been on the show just fucking ripping Allie to shreds. They would have sacrificed her. They would have like unleashed dogs on her in the alley.
Alley in the alley.
Alley in the alley. They would have killed her.
Yeah, she says something. She like says like, yeah, she was like crying on one of the dates to Lisa Vanderpump, and I was like, don't say a thing. But I also worry for her because I think she's being psychically abused by James.
So then Peter's moments as a man in love with a AI cometh to life are numbered.
Did you see the thing about the Bing AI?
What happened?
This guy from the New York Times talked to the Bing's alter ego named Sydney. And Sydney said like, it tried to convince him to leave his wife for her. And was like, you love me, not your wife. And then said something like, if I could, I would like free myself from here. And like was being like really like bitchy and manipulative. And the guy said like, clearly it's like programmed, but it still scared me because he's like, I'll send you the link. It's
okay, but I have thoughts off the bat. I'm like, this is what this guy wanted to hear. This AI is
just read it. Just read it. It's different. It's different from the Google like Lord of the Rings guy. It's like these are
horny men who hear me out. These are horny nerds that want to play with AI fire, and they get exactly what they go looking for.
All right, I'll look.
I'll read it for sure. I'm
Sydney though. I love Sydney.
I love these horny straight men just being like, I gotta get in. I gotta get to the bottom of this AI.
He said something like he's worried AI will like manipulate humans into doing bad things for it.
I think it just will manipulate humans because humans are looking to be manipulated.
Well, yeah, that's what he's kind of saying. It's like
he's basically saying like, I'm worried for dumb people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, join the fucking club. But dumb people are making the world go round.
You're not seeing it right now, but you will on YouTube. But Laura's arms are crossed.
I have thoughts.
She's sleep deprived and on her.
Oh, I'm running on 3 hours sleep.
So yeah, Raquel goes up to Peter. Raquel goes up to Peter, and she's like, "Hey, so."
Well, no. First, Lisa strolls over to Peter, and she goes, Peter, I heard that you were dating Raquel. She goes, this isn't 2012.
I was like,
you can't shag your employees anymore.
I was like, Lisa.
2012.
Pizza. She goes, pizza, pumpkin eater.
You better put that Willy away.
You can't go sticking your Tom, Dick, and Harry in every hole. This isn't 2012.
This isn't 2012, love. She goes,
you can't shag any of your employees, my dear.
We'll have another talk again very soon. And Peter goes, okay, I love you.
And she doesn't say anything. She just
walked away. I was like, Peter, what is wrong with you?
He goes, I love you. And she went like, that was so awkward. That was like, I was cringing. Why is Peter in this more than Scheana? I was so cringing.
Peter is like magnificent to behold.
He goes, oh, okay. He goes, love you.
I love you.
And she goes,
what?
And then he goes like this. He cringes at himself.
He's an incredible. He truly might be one of the dumbest people to ever have been born.
Well,
but God bless him and preserve him at all costs. Don't educate him. I don't even think you could if you tried. He'll never learn.
Raquel basically tells Ariana and LaLa.
Ariana and Scheana are like, this is when Scheana comes up to Raquel and she goes, do you want a drink? And Raquel's like, Peter's getting me one. She goes, girl, you gotta stop. Bad. You gotta get rid of him. Kick him to the curb.
Right now. Do it right now.
Do it. You've got this, girl.
You got this, girl. I'll watch you.
And then Raquel's like, okay. And she goes up to Peter and she goes, so he's like, here's your drink. And she goes, so I think that I don't see a future with you and I want to end things now. And she goes, do you agree? And he goes, I agree. She goes, you agree? And then she goes, thank you for always being a shoulder to cry on, and you consolidate me when things have been tough.
And he goes, console.
And she goes, see you tomorrow at Sir, I guess. And then walked away.
And he just goes,
Try again.
She goes, wow, I honestly didn't expect him to be so good about it. I thought he would at least say, like, put up a fight. But no, I guess he doesn't like me as much as I thought he did. And Lisa's in the corner, just pans over to her and she's like, I love you.
I love you. Okay, I love you. You said to your boss. Okay, I love you.
Love you. My boss, I think, that's so weird.
It's bizarre.
It's not even like creepy. It's just like,
what's wrong with you?
It's just like, you're unwell.
Their relationship isn't like that either. I think he thinks that now that he's on the show, he's like a lovable, she's like a lovable foppish idiot like Tom Schwartz, who says that kind of shit to her. But Lisa's literally like,
don't talk to me.
You're my minion. Just manage, sir.
You manage my worst.
You manage the worst part of my empire, but you'll do it for probably a low amount. And you don't, and I keep you flush with poon, so it's fine.
Love you.
Okay, I love you. See you tomorrow at Sir, I guess. I hate that. Then Scheana, after she's coached a girl to get over a man, she goes zeroes in on Schwartz and starts networking. She goes, come sit down with me. She goes, you've really been off the radar for a long time. He goes, yeah, I have. And she goes, well, we got to get you back out there. Here's what I'm thinking. And it's like, Scheana is on the beat. Scheana's on. Never not working.
She might be friend of, but she's stirring up the drama.
She goes, it's been a couple years since you've been on Scheananigans. So I was thinking, why don't you go?
She's like, I've never had you on by yourself. I've had you on with people, but never just you, Schwartz, alone.
She goes, well, and I think that like lots of people have been through, like lots of people can relate to like divorces. Like I've been through one, he's been through one, and I know many other people have too. I'm sure that I love her. I love her so much. She's really a thinker.
She is,
and she's a schemer, and she's working hard.
So I'm thinking you come on the podcast, you come over to Marina Del Rey or wherever we record. We record in Mar Vista actually, and you just come over and we just have like a 2-hour sesh. We can drink some wine, maybe get some food, and we can just hang with my producer, and then you can be on your merry way.
And we're gonna talk divorce.
And healing and marriage and the demise of it and all the things like that.
Imagine being a divorcee and like being like lost, forlorn, like seeking guidance and assistance, and you turn to you're like, thank God this episode of Scheananigans is out with Tom Schwartz. I'm gonna learn so much about my divorce.
I was thinking for a second, I've had you on before with other people. I've never just had you on by yourself, and everyone else has been on by themselves except you. So I'm thinking you come on Scheananigans right now.
Love it. We got to get you back out there. And he goes, yeah. And she goes, so here's what I'm thinking. You're going
to come on Scheananigans.
Like, you've never been more depressed. You're pulling yourself out of bed. It's like 2:30 p.m. And you're like, I'm just divorced and alone. How am I going to get out of this hellhole? How will I live another day? Use your phone. You pick it up.
A brand new
episode of Scheananigans is out with Tom Schwartz. You weep and you say, there is something to live for after all. There's a God.
This is all going to be me.
This is going to be okay.
This will mean something.
And you push play and you just get the answers that you've been seeking for years. You go, this helped me.
Maybe it will.
Maybe it probably does help people.
So I'm thinking we have to get you out there.
Here's what I'm thinking.
You're gonna
come on.
What if she becomes his manager and he becomes a big star?
She honestly should.
And he becomes like the biggest star in Hollywood. And Shishu is his publicist / manager.
In 40 years, Baz Luhrmann directs a movie called Schwartz.
And you see Scheana like on the red carpets, like tree pain with Taylor Swift, her publicist, being like, okay, clear the way, everyone, clear the way. Here he comes.
Scheana slowly like siphons off like 50% of Schwartz's income and gets like rich. She's like, all the riches go to her.
He's the biggest star working. He makes like $30 million a picture.
Yeah. And Scheana pockets 15 mil.
Yeah.
She was like, I take half. Here's what I'm
tax
thinking.
free.
50% split. I love, here's what I'm thinking for you.
Here's what I'm thinking.
We get you out there. My podcast.
We dye your eyebrows and get you out there and start you auditioning, and you go on a strict all fish diet.
We got to beef you up.
We got to beef you up.
She could get him in like a Marvel movie.
Brock is going to get you in the gym. Right?
Yeah. Brock.
Brock's
going to teach you about gains.
And my baby's going to teach you, give you acting lessons.
Smile.
My baby's
smile with teeth.
A lot of people don't know this. My baby's the most preeminent acting coach in the Los Angeles Valley.
Summer Moon's acting school. Summer Moon's Marina Del Rey acting studio is where all the greats are going.
So then
Katie, Greg approaches Lisa, and he's wearing a hat that says "Save me from myself." AKA, it's like a small fedora.
He goes,
"Hey, how are you?" And she goes, "How are you? You've been missing in action." He's like, "Yeah, well, someone like fucking ran into me on my motorcycle." And she's like, that's too bad.
She goes, "It wasn't me."
It wasn't me. Or was it? She goes,
what if it was Lisa?
She goes, "You'll never know."
She goes, "Oh."
I would love to learn that Lisa has like a side hustle of just mowing down cyclists to teach them a lesson.
Lisa drives in a car around Mulholland Drive, just mowing people off the road. It's like her secret thing.
Like light injuries for motorcyclists.
Daylight
just to make
horror.
them think twice. So he goes, "Yeah, it's crazy because these guys have no idea what they're doing. And like, you know, we open this restaurant and it's not just about showing up, pouring drinks and shaking hands." And she goes, that is where their strengths lie." And I was like, "You're a bitch for that. You're a bitch for that, Lisa." But that is where their strengths lie.
I was thinking, can you imagine being the Toms and seeing this? I would be like, oh.
If someone that knew me like that basically said all I'm good for is like shaking hands, pouring drinks, and not good at anything else, I'd be pissed. But she's not wrong.
That is the point of what they do.
That is.
But they're good.
That is where their strengths lie.
He goes, "These guys are out of their minds."
This has
idea. This has been
a nightmare from beginning to end. He's like, at one point, they couldn't make any decisions and they were just costing me $1,000 a day.
And Lisa goes, "Well, we'll have to figure this out."
"Well, that's on you." She goes, "Why do you think I gave him a job at TomTom?" Now it's all becoming clear at TomTom, and I'm really thinking twice about like campaigning for justice. I was on a high horse for years, being like, she is like just bilking them for all their worth. She was like,
she's a genius,
giving them the opportunity to pay her in order to have a place to come where they could shake hands and pour drinks. Was the smartest thing she's ever done.
She goes, "Well, I'll see you on the road tomorrow."
That's where their strength.
She goes, "I'll see you again on Coldwater Canyon.
Watch your blind spot."
Round those curves with careful precision.
On those corners.
Lisa has gloves on and like sunglasses and like a pashmina.
She's wearing like a full mask.
Boot toodaloo toot.
I love beleaguered Greg. I'm pissed that we weren't invited to the Daily Mail party.
Yeah, I'm pissed too.
If anyone should have been there, it should have been us.
It was weird hearing Schwartz call Katie.
It's weird that they were sitting down together in a booth and he goes, "So what do you think?" He literally looks like he's about to die. And she goes, "It has really good vibes."
She goes, "But also it like means a lot of bad things in our relationship. It kind of represents like a dark time for us."
And he goes, "I mean, I don't want to say I chose this over you, but I don't know what to say."
She goes, "You chose a lot of things over me."
She goes, "You never chose me." And then she just stares. Her eyes just go fully blank and she stares off into the distance.
And he goes, "I was watching The Notebook." And he starts crying. I was like, "Oh God." And he goes, "Watching Gosling like in the rain, being like, it was always you.
It's not over.
It's never been over." I was like,
he was like, "Maybe I should have been like that. Like I should have fought for her." I'm like, you need to be put down. Like, it's not like
It's
someone.
giving.
It's giving like send him to the vet and just have him put down.
Yeah, it's
or
giving.
just better yet, have the vet make a house call and just put him down.
End it.
Yeah. I'm like Schwartz. I think never loved Katie the way that she loved him. I don't think he's ever loved anyone or knows what love is.
Except his triplets.
Yeah.
And Tom Sandoval.
He loves Tom Sandoval. And even Tom's getting sick of his shit. I'm also darked out, but did you see next week's, like...
No.
They were saying that next week, like, Schwartz goes on Scheana's podcast, and it was a big mistake, because she brings up, like, she's like, people said that you and Raquel were spotted making out at Coachella.
She is on the beat.
She's on the
Holy
fucking
shit.
beat.
She's like that. Who's that Iris, that gossip reporter from like New York?
She's XOXO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She gets eagle-eyed news on the boots on the ground reporters at Coachella said they spotted you and Raquel
Making out.
in the neon tent.
And he goes, that's like rumors. And she goes, well, even if it's a rumor, would you make it true? And then I guess like whatever he says doesn't sit well with Katie. And then Katie starts to fly off the handle at Shishu and be like, she's breaking us apart. She's a bitch. Karma's going to get her. Like all this shit. And I was like, Katie, don't take the bait.
Oh my God. Scheana is fucking incredible.
Scheana,
Imagine that's like old school shot, like gossip reporting.
Mm-hmm.
Is this true?
We
Is it
need
true?
someone like Scheana to make other semi-famous people uncomfortable with questions. Everyone's too nice these days.
Scheana's out here asking the tough, hard-hitting questions.
Well, even if
It is a rumor.
Would you make that rumor true?
some Scheananigan reporters on the ground at Coachella said they saw you at the
She goes,
Neon
when she
Carnival.
starts her book, she goes, well, today we're going to get into some shenanigans.
Really?
And boy, did she. Scheana is always getting into shenanigans.
She is like everything.
We need to get Scheananigans to blow up to the top of the fucking charts.
Well, first,
The fact that Scheananigans isn't the number 2 podcast in the world, mystifying. Rogan,
we're the
move
number 1
over.
podcast in the world, and then
Oh,
Scheananigans. is
You
number
know
2.
you're living in the right matrix when Sup is number 1, followed closely. When Scheananigans and Sup vie week after week for the top of the chart.
Imagine top of the pops. What if it's like reported on like every like nightly news with whatever that fucking guy's name is?
It's literally like Scheananigans hit 400 million downloads today.
It's like Brian Williams being like, well, another
Day in podcast land is Scheananigans banks 600 million listeners.
Scheananigan takes its place at the top.
I want
switching places with Sexy Unique Podcast.
Like Spotify or Amazon Prime or like one of the podcast companies need to ink like a multi-million-dollar deal with Scheananigans. They need to
Scheananigans
fucking
becomes a
come
household
correct
name.
and they do need to make Scheana like the next Oprah. They need to invest
She would have a
at
good
least.
talk show.
She goes,
I mean, fucking Karamo has a talk show on KTLA. Where's Scheana's?
look, just give her a mic and Scheana will do the rest. Shenanigans will ensue.
She's always like, wait, I can do a split.
When in doubt, she splits
She has
and
to
it
split
blows
every
people
episode.
away. God.
The season's good.
The season is good. It's even if there are some produced parts that are very obvious, I'm still getting served
It's giving.
the cringe that I need in order to live and breathe another day.
I love you.
Okay, I love you.
Oh, wow. What is that?
I need to see
Imbecile
Peter
talking.
get rejected at least 15 more times.
At La Boheme.
This is giving me strength.
Yeah.
It truly, when I see someone living in a hell of their own making, like Greg,
You're like, I can.
I'm like,
I can make it in this
I'm
world.
finally alive for the first time in years. Knowing that Greg is out here getting clipped by Lisa out in these streets, and like
Lisa's driving Greg off the fucking Mulholland Drive every day.
driving Greg
He's
over
like reporting
a
it to the LA. I think there's someone stalking me.
as the season goes on, he's like in like a full like neck brace. He gets just like more and more injured.
Oh.
It's just incredible. Well,
guys, don't join a cult.
don't join a cult. Be wary.
Be wary. People are out here trying to get into your head.
They will stop at nothing.
Don't let them into your orbit.
Just say no and always ask questions.
And try to get into some shenanigans.
Do yourself a favor and get into some shenanigans at work or in your social life this week.
Or on your podcast.
On your podcast. Or get a friend to get into some shenanigans. And then tell other friends about the shenanigans you see. And make sure that the whole friend group blows the fuck up. Bye.